What if the person you love is not who they claim to be? What if behind sweet words and caring gestures lies a dangerous deception, and your happiness is just a part of someone else's game? Today you'll hear a story where love and betrayal are so tightly intertwined that the truth can either destroy everything or offer a new beginning. Are you ready to find out what a woman is capable of when her world falls apart? Then listen closely. This story won't let you go until the very end. Dangerous love. Evening in Manhattan was wrapped in the golden glow of streetlights and neon signs. On the 22nd floor of a glass skyscraper, in an office with panoramic windows, Emily Hart stood by her desk, clutching her phone. She had just received a message that would change her life. "I know more about you than you think. Don't trust him," read the anonymous text. Emily was a successful attorney used to keeping everything under control, but now her heart was racing. She glanced at her colleague and fiancé, Alex Rivera, who was typing at his computer. His profile was as perfect as a movie star's, his smile disarming. But for the first time Emily wondered, did she really know the man she was about to marry? "Is everything okay?" Alex asked, not looking up from his screen. "Yes, just tired," she lied, slipping her phone into her bag. They left the office together. Outside, Alex put his arm around her shoulders, and Emily felt the familiar warmth. But the words from the message echoed in her mind. Who could have sent it? And what was the warning about? That night, Emily tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Alex slept beside her, his breathing calm and steady, but even his presence no longer brought her peace. She replayed the anonymous message over and over in her mind. Someone was clearly watching her. But who? And why? At dawn, Emily was already up. She decided not to show Alex her anxiety. Over breakfast, he was as charming as ever, telling her about an upcoming meeting with a new client, a mysterious businessman named James Carter. Emily had heard of him. Rumors linked him to shady dealings, but there was never any proof. "You don't mind if I'm late tonight, do you?" Alex asked, kissing her on the forehead. "Of course not," Emily replied, forcing a smile. When Alex left, she picked up her phone again. The message was still there. She decided not to reply, but couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. At work, Emily tried to focus, but her thoughts kept drifting back to Alex and his new client. She opened her browser and started searching for information about James Carter. The more she read, the more uneasy she felt. His name kept coming up in connection with high-profile scandals, but he always seemed to walk away unscathed. Just then a new message popped up on her screen. "He's not who he says he is. Don't trust him. If you want the truth, come alone to the cafe at the corner of 5th Avenue and 42nd Street at 7 p.m. A chill ran down Emily's spine. She knew it could be a trap, but curiosity and anxiety outweighed her fear. She decided to go. Evening in New York was noisy and bustling, but inside the small cafe on the corner, there was an almost intimate silence. Emily entered, looked around, and spotted a woman in dark glasses and with short hair in the far corner. The woman gestured for Emily to sit. "Thank you for coming," the stranger said quietly. "My name is Laura. Who are you? Why are you writing to me?" Emily asked, trying to sound confident. Laura took off her glasses. Her eyes were tired and anxious. "I was in your place. I trusted Alex too," she said. "And I almost lost everything." Emily felt her hands grow cold. "What are you talking about? Alex isn't who he says he is. He's been working for Carter for years. He's his right hand. All his sweet words and care. It's all part of the game. He knows how to charm, but behind it is something dangerous. Emily didn't want to believe it. Everything she knew about Alex seemed real. But there was a disturbing sincerity in Laura's words. Why are you helping me? Because I don't want another woman to get hurt. I can prove what I'm saying. Here. Laura handed her a flash drive. It has recordings, documents, photos. See for yourself. Emily took the flash drive, feeling her insides tighten. She didn't know what to believe. All the way home, Emily clutched the flash drive as if it were the key to her own life. She hesitated to look at its contents. Fear of the truth battled with the need to know. But curiosity won. She plugged the flash drive into her laptop. There were several folders: audio, photos, documents. She started with the audio files. The first recording was Alex's voice, speaking on the phone. Everything's under control, James. She suspects nothing. I'll do as you asked. Emily's mouth went dry. She played the next recording. Alex was discussing a deal with Carter, mentioning names Emily had only heard in news stories about financial crimes. In the photos folder were pictures. Alex and Carter in an expensive restaurant. Alex with unfamiliar men who looked like bodyguards. In one photo, Alex was holding a suitcase, Carter standing beside him with a smug smile. In the documents, Emily found copies of contracts, bank transfers, even fake passports in Alex's name. It all seemed too real. Emily closed her laptop and sat on the floor. Her life was falling apart before her eyes. She didn't know what to do. Confront Alex, go to the police, or just disappear. But one thing was clear: she couldn't trust anyone now. Just then a new message arrived. You made the right choice. But now you're in danger. Watch your back. Emily didn't sleep all night. She tried to gather her thoughts, but the anxiety wouldn't let go. In the morning, she decided to act carefully, to behave with Alex as if nothing had happened, and try to find out more. Alex came home late that evening. He was tired, but as attentive and caring as ever. How was your day? He asked, kissing her on the cheek. Just the usual, Emily replied, trying not to show her nerves. They had dinner together, talked about the news, but Emily found herself thinking that every word Alex said was a lie. She remembered the recordings, the photos, the documents, and couldn't look him in the eye. Late at night, when Alex was asleep, Emily quietly stepped out onto the balcony and called Laura. I saw everything, she whispered. It's true. What should I do? Don't panic, Laura replied. The main thing is not to let him know you know. I'll help you get out of this, but you need to be careful. I don't want to live a lie, Emily whispered. You're not alone. Meet me at the same cafe tomorrow. I'll tell you what to do next. Emily hung up and stared at the city lights. She realized her life was now a dangerous game, with not just her happiness, but her safety at stake. The next morning was tense. Emily tried to act normal, but every move felt forced. Alex seemed not to notice, but sometimes his gaze lingered on her a little too long, as if he suspected something. Emily, you seem tense, Alex said. Just a lot of work, Emily replied. At the office, Emily couldn't concentrate. She waited for her meeting with Laura, running through possible scenarios in her mind. What if Alex found out about her suspicions? What if Carter was already watching her? That evening, she returned to the cafe. Laura was already there, this time without glasses, her eyes full of worry. You need to leave, Laura said immediately. I have a contact who can help you disappear. But you have to be ready to give up everything. Your job, your friends, even your name. I can't just run away, Emily protested. I want Alex and Carter to pay for what they've done. Laura shook her head. It's dangerous. Carter has connections everywhere. If you go to the police, they'll know before you even finish your statement. But what if I gather more evidence? Emily asked. What if I can get it to a journalist or the FBI? Laura thought for a moment. It's possible. But you'll have to play your part to the end. Pretend you know nothing. And be ready for the risk of being discovered. Emily nodded. She was afraid, but her resolve was stronger. She wouldn't let lies and betrayal destroy her life. I agree, she said. I'll do whatever it takes. The next days turned into a real performance for Emily. She smiled at Alex, discussed future plans, pretended she suspected nothing. But inside she was always on guard, watching his every word and move. Alex started staying late at work more often, sometimes not coming home at all. He explained it as urgent business meetings with Carter, but now Emily knew there was more to it. One evening when Alex came home, he was unusually quiet. He looked at Emily for a long time, as if trying to figure something out. You've changed, he said suddenly. You seem distant. Emily felt a knot in her stomach, but forced herself to smile. Just tired. Work's been crazy. Alex stepped closer, took her hands in his. If something's wrong, you can trust me, he said gently. Emily almost laughed at the absurdity of his words, but held back. I'm fine really, she replied. That night she couldn't sleep. The thought tormented her. What if Alex really suspected something? What if he started watching her? The next day Laura sent her a message. I found a journalist we can trust. He's ready to meet. Be careful, Carter is getting suspicious. Don't go alone. Emily realized. She was running out of time. She had to act quickly before it was too late. The meeting was set in a crowded park near the Brooklyn Bridge. Laura came with Emily, not wanting to leave her alone. The journalist, a tall man in his 40s with an attentive gaze, introduced himself as Thomas Blake. I've heard about Carter, he said as they sat on a bench in the shade. But there's never been enough evidence. If you have something solid, this could be a sensation. Emily handed him the flash drive and told him everything she knew. Thomas listened carefully, only occasionally asking clarifying questions. This is dangerous, he finally said. If Carter finds out you're working against him, he won't stop at anything. I understand, Emily replied. But I can't live a lie anymore. Thomas promised to review the materials and contact her as soon as there was a chance to publish the exposé. He gave Emily a new phone, just for communicating with him. As she and Laura returned home, Emily felt both relief and anxiety. Now she was not just a victim, but a player in a dangerous game. That evening Alex was late again. Emily sat in the kitchen when she heard him come in. He was tense, his face dark. Where were you today? He asked, unable to hide his suspicion. With a friend, Emily replied calmly. Alex stared at her for a long time, then nodded and went to the bedroom. Emily realized. He knew something. Or at least he suspected. The next day, Emily woke up to a call on her new phone. It was Thomas. I've checked the materials, he said. It's serious. I've already contacted the editorial office, but we need to be careful. Someone tipped Carter off. He started cleaning house. Emily felt her hands go cold. What should I do? Don't go home. I'll send you an address where you can hide. Laura is already there. Emily quickly packed her essentials and left the apartment, trying not to attract attention. She understood. Her life now depended on caution. That evening, Thomas came to see them. He was anxious but determined. "We're ready to publish," he said. "But we need your consent. After this, Carter and Alex will be outcasts, but you'll be in danger too." Emily thought for a moment. She knew there would be no turning back after publication, but she couldn't live in fear and lies any longer. "I agree," she said firmly. Thomas nodded. "Then tomorrow everything changes." The morning began with alarming news. The whole country was talking about the sensational exposé. On the front page of a major news portal were photos and documents implicating Carter and his associates in fraud, money laundering, and witness intimidation. Alex Rivera's name was also mentioned in the investigation. Emily read the article, feeling both relief and fear. She knew her life would never be the same. Laura hugged her, trying to comfort her. "You did it," she said. "You saved not only yourself but others too." Emily's phone was flooded with calls. Journalists, police, even former colleagues. She answered only Thomas. He told her that Carter and Alex had disappeared, but the FBI had already put them on the wanted list. That evening, Emily received a message from an unknown number. "You think you've won, but this is only the beginning. Will this ever end?" Emily thought. The next day, Emily and Laura decided to move to a new safe house. Thomas kept them updated. Carter and Alex had vanished, but their people were still at large. One night, as Emily was returning to the hideout, she noticed someone following her. Her heart pounded, but she didn't show it. She quickened her pace and ducked into a crowded bar. There she called Laura. "Someone's following me," she whispered. "Don't come back here," Laura replied. "I'll come get you." While Emily waited, she noticed a man in a black jacket watching her from afar. She tried not to look at him, but she could feel his gaze. Laura arrived quickly. They left without looking back. Emily was silent the whole way, clenching her fists. "We can't hide forever," she finally said. "I want to end this." "We've already done so much," Laura replied. "But if you're ready to go all the way, I'm with you." Emily nodded. She knew to be free, she would have to face her past head-on. Thomas arranged a meeting with the FBI agent handling Carter's case. Emily and Laura arrived at the office under protection. The agent, who introduced himself as Mr. Wilson, listened carefully to their story and reviewed new details Emily had remembered in recent days. "We're close to catching Carter," he said. "But we need you to testify. It's dangerous, but without you we can't finish the case." Emily looked at Laura. She nodded. "We agree," Emily said. For the next few weeks, Emily and Laura lived under witness protection. They gave testimony, participated in lineups, and helped the investigation piece together the chain of crimes. Thomas supported them, publishing new materials and keeping the public's attention on the case. One night, Emily woke up to a phone call. It was Alex. "You destroyed everything." His voice was quiet, almost broken. "I loved you, Emily. But now you're my enemy." "You made your own choices," she replied. "I'm not afraid anymore." He hung up. The trial lasted several months. Emily and Laura were the main witnesses, and their testimony was crucial. Carter and his closest associates were arrested, and Alex, despite trying to escape, was caught in Mexico and extradited to the U.S. In the courtroom, Emily met Alex's gaze. There was no remorse or love in his eyes, only exhaustion and anger. She realized the man she loved had disappeared long before this story began. After the trial, Emily was offered a new life, witness protection, a new name, a move to another state. Laura agreed immediately, but Emily hesitated. She didn't want to keep running, but she knew safety was most important. In the new city, Emily started over. She got a job at a legal aid center, helping women in difficult situations. Laura became her best friend and support. Months passed. Emily's life gradually returned to normal. She got used to her new name, her cozy little apartment, and slow walks through quiet streets. Laura found her place too, working at a local newspaper, where her experience was invaluable. But sometimes the past still haunted her. Emily still woke up at night from anxious dreams, hearing Alex's voice or seeing Carter's cold stare. She knew such wounds heal slowly. Time passed and Emily's life filled with new meaning. She became known in her city as a lawyer who wasn't afraid of tough cases and always stood for the truth. People came to her not only for legal help, but for support and hope. Laura suggested writing a book about what they'd been through. At first, Emily hesitated, afraid to relive the pain, but then she realized her story could help thousands. Together, they began working on the manuscript, recalling details, analyzing mistakes and victories. One day, after giving a lecture at the university on women's rights, Emily met a man. He was a new professor, recently arrived from Boston. His name was Michael. There was no trace of deceit in his eyes, only genuine interest and respect. They talked, and for the first time in a long while, Emily felt lightness. She didn't rush, didn't build illusions, but allowed herself simply to be. That evening she wrote to Laura, "I don't know what will happen next, but I'm not afraid to live anymore." Laura replied, "You deserve happiness. Let yourself be happy." Emily smiled. Ahead was a new chapter, without fear, without lies, with faith in herself and in life. Another year passed. Emily and Laura's book was published and quickly became popular. Emily was invited to television, asked to speak at conferences, and women from all over the country wrote her letters of gratitude. Emily wasn't seeking fame. She just wanted no one to ever feel alone in their pain again. Michael became her close friend. He didn't rush things, supported her in everything, and with him, Emily learned to trust again. Spring in the new city was especially beautiful. Emily and Michael often walked in the parks, discussed books, and dreamed about the future. Laura visited often, and their small circle filled the house with laughter and warmth. One evening, as Emily returned home, she found a bouquet of wildflowers and a note on her doorstep. "Thank you for being you. For your strength, honesty, and light. Michael." Emily smiled. She felt her heart was open to love again. Not the kind that blinds and destroys, but the kind that heals and inspires. Soon, she was invited to speak at a national women's rights conference. Emily was nervous, but she knew her voice mattered. She shared her story, not just about pain and betrayal, but about hope, about how important it is not to give up, and to look for light even in the deepest darkness. After her speech, dozens of people approached her. Some just to thank her, some for advice, some to share their own pain. Emily realized her journey was only beginning. Summer brought new discoveries into Emily's life. She spoke at more events, helped women, wrote articles, and took part in social initiatives. Her story inspired many, but Emily herself still lacked one thing: inner forgiveness. One day she received a letter. There was no signature, but the handwriting was familiar. Alex wrote from prison. He asked for forgiveness, spoke of his mistakes, how he had lost himself, and how he now regretted what he had done. Emily held the letter in her hands for a long time. She reread the lines, trying to understand what she felt. Was there room in her for forgiveness? Or would the past always remain a wound? That evening, she told Michael and Laura everything. They didn't give advice, just listened. Forgiveness isn't for him, it's for you, Laura said. It's your freedom. Emily wrote a reply. She didn't justify Alex, didn't promise to forget, but she let go of her pain. She wished him to find himself and never hurt anyone again. After that, she felt lighter. She realized she was truly free, not just from fear but from resentment. Emily continued to work, to help, to learn and to teach others. Her book became a bestseller, and the Women's Support Foundation she founded with Laura began to operate nationwide. Michael was always there, supporting her in everything, and their relationship grew stronger. They traveled together, discovered new cities, met people whose lives were changed by their work. One evening after a lecture, a young woman approached Emily. There was a light of hope in her eyes. "Thank you," she said. "Because of your story, I found the strength to leave someone who was destroying me. Now I'm studying, I have dreams. You are my example." Emily hugged her. In that moment she realized everything she had gone through was not in vain. Her pain became someone's hope, her path, someone's salvation. The foundation they created continued to grow and develop. More and more women found support and protection there. Emily became a mentor to many, and she was invited to give lectures at universities and international forums. One day, returning home after another event, Emily stopped at a bookstore window. On the shelf was her book, with a new cover, with the inscription, "An inspiring story of strength, love, and freedom." She smiled at her reflection in the glass. At that moment, Michael came up, put his arm around her shoulders. "Are you happy?" he asked. "Yes," Emily replied. "I'm happy and grateful for everything that was and is." Years passed. Emily became a symbol of strength and hope for many. Her name was known not only in her city, but far beyond. She continued to help, to teach, to inspire, but most importantly, she lived fully, unafraid to love and be loved. One spring day, she sat on the porch of her house, watching Michael and Laura laugh in the garden. In her hands was a letter, a thank you from a woman she had never met, but whose life had changed because of her story. Emily smiled. She knew everything that had happened to her was not in vain. Every step, every trial, every tear and victory made her who she was. She was no longer afraid of the past. She believed in the future. And she knew true love is not just passion, but support, honesty, trust, and the freedom to be yourself. The sun was setting, filling the sky with golden light. Emily stood up, took a deep breath, and walked toward her loved ones, toward the life she had chosen for herself. Emily's story is not just a tale of love, betrayal, and intrigue. It is a story of inner strength, of how important it is not to lose yourself even in the most difficult circumstances. It shows that true love is not only about passion, but also about support, honesty, and trust. And that forgiveness and the ability to move forward make us truly free. Any of us can face lies, deceit, or betrayal. But it's important to remember, even after the hardest trials, you can find the strength to start over, believe in yourself, and build a new happy life. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like, share your thoughts about Emily's fate and the other characters in the comments, And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new dramatic love stories. Your feedback and support mean a lot to me.